Good morning and welcome to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Please be seated. And we'll begin on page 2 of your white liturgy book. God of atonement, all evil karma ever committed by me, since Kaya 3 refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old.
There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers, for the lineage of teachers before them. I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, and may their vows be completely realized, and may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings.
generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred.
Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this.
Please stand for the Heart Sutra. Great Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practicing deep Prajna Paramita clearly saw that all five skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is exactly emptiness, emptiness exactly form. Sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are essentially empty, not torn, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, no tongue, body, mind, no
such object of thought, no seeing, and so on to no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so on to no old age and death, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering, cessation, path, no wisdom, and no attainment, since there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva lives by prajna paramita, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond elusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future live by prajna paramita, attaining anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore, the prajna paramita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore, set forth the prajna paramita mantra. Set forth this mantra and proclaim: Gate, gate, para, gate, parsam, gate, bodhisattva. Gate, para, gate, parsam, gate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, para, gate, parsam, gate, bodhisattva. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice for the many beings of the 6 worlds, and dedicate it in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate these merits to all suffering from cruelty, calamity, injustice, and war, to Monica, Louise, Eugen, Troy, Logan, Michael K., Stephen, Christine, Mary, Hazel, Soke, Roger, and Debbie. May they heal their ills. And to William, Charlie, Buddy, Joanne, Sandra, Mr. Perkins, Jane, and Angie at the time of their death, and for all those whose names we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. All Prashna Paramita.
Please prepare for Zazen. There is Dharma school today, so Dharma students and teachers, please meet in the community room. We will now recite the Sangha Covenant. The covenant can be found on page 8 of the White Liturgy book.
We, the Daishin Kokuji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others.
Please sit comfortably and facing the altar so that you can see our speakers. Gata on opening the sutra. The
hear me okay? Excellent. I'm not used to this mic. Thank you so much for being here today on this lovely day. Our teachers have graciously asked us to share our experience in practicing with the precepts, and we're so grateful to have this opportunity. My name is Zuiho. My name, Zuiho, means marrow set free, so marrow like in your bones. And brace yourselves to be shocked and amazed at the foresight of our teachers in selecting this name for me. I first came to the temple in 2016. I came with the library that I work for was doing a diversity program where staff would go and visit different faith-based organizations. And so we went to the mosque, and we went to a Jewish temple, and then we came to the Buddhist temple. And Rinzin Roshi talked to our group and gave an awesome talk. And it was like I was hit with a Dharma freight train. You know, you don't realize how much you need to hear something until you hear it, and it's just like the molecules of your body are just, yeah. So I was in. And I took Jukai in 2017. I thought I would share an anecdote to demonstrate where I was before my practice. My parents divorced when I was about 7, and it was the mid-70s, tiny town in Michigan, super Catholic family, so it was really unusual. My dad is a pretty scary guy, so it was just a huge relief that this happened. And I vividly remember my mother telling me about it. I was sitting in the front seat of our 76 Cutlass Supreme, so kind of a bench seat, no seat belts, little kid in the front. And my mom told me that my dad wouldn't be living with us anymore, and relief. And then we never talked about it ever again, ever. That was my introduction to the Hartman Credo of if you don't talk about it, not a problem. And we stand by that value to this very day. Interesting side note, in thinking about this, I called my sister, and for the first time in our lives, I said, "Do you remember when Mom and Dad got divorced? I remember Mom telling me, front seat, Cutlass, no seat belts. Don't you think it was weird that we never talked about, like, not even like sibling to sibling?" And she just said, "Wait, Mom told you that there was a divorce? Because she didn't tell me." So my sister's 4 years older than me, and my brother is 8 years older than me. So apparently they were left to figure it out for themselves. For all we know, my brother still might not know. We don't know. But yeah, so deep bows to the Sangha members in the mental health fields, because as long as my family's around, y'all got some, job security. I had a history of the family class as an undergrad, and the project that I did was I had to do a family tree. And so I remember thinking, oh man, now's my chance. It's an assignment, so my mom has to answer my questions. And so I asked her again, and she still couldn't talk about it. And the one thing that she did say was that she waited until her parents were dead before she started divorce proceedings. And I was shocked, because we were miserable. It was pretty bad. I think my mom was so deeply ashamed that to hide it and not talk about it was the only way that she could deal with it. So that became kind of the default way that my family dealt with most difficult things. And I marinated in that primary response combination of being deeply ashamed of any mistakes or perceived weaknesses, to the point where the feeling was that they shouldn't happen. And refusing to acknowledge pain and difficulty in life, because if you don't talk about it, it's not a problem. So where's the difficulty? So I came to the temple an emotionally walking wounded person, like I think so many of us do. For me, the value of the precepts has been that in working with them, I have literally gained the ability and the emotional strength to be able to acknowledge the presence of suffering. And most importantly, I've learned how to deal with life's many, many, many crappy moments in ways that reduce harm. I like that the paramitas aren't just stop doing stupid stuff and you're on your own, that there are just so many layers to them, and the more that you experience them, the more that you live your life, and the more Dharma teachings you hear, the more beneficial they become, and the stronger that you get. I also like that the paramitas, the way they're set up, they allow for damage and bad things to happen in life, which they're gonna happen, which for me, like, it was hard to get over that expectation that they shouldn't be there. And I think most importantly, they make us take responsibility for mitigating harm. So that balance of acknowledging, not hiding, and addressing, taking responsibility for, has been a life changer. I think the precept that has been the most helpful to me, aside from the don't talk shit about people one, which I'm sorry, but I think we need a special dispensation in this political environment, because sometimes that one is a real challenge. But the one that's been the most impactful has been, I take refuge in Sangha. It took me a long time, like years, and I'm still working on it now, to begin to relax and feel like I can be myself around people. I've lived a really solitary life in kind of that perpetual cringe of keeping everything to myself. Practicing the paramitas has been so life-changing as I basically unlearn a lifetime's worth of emotionally debilitating beliefs. And I get kind of spoiled here, and I know a lot of people have also said this, in that it's always a little weird to go out into the world and be around people that don't behave in the ways that we do here that are so beneficial to us as Buddhist practitioners. And so the Sangha is kind of like an emotional safety net for me. Like there's this expectation that there's this base of compassion that is so lacking in the world, unfortunately. I see so many small gestures of kindness and compassion every time I'm around Sangha members, and seeing everyone striving in their own way to work with the precepts gives me a lot of courage and a lot of strength in my own practice. My capacity to truly accept and appreciate others as they truly are has grown exponentially, and with that, my ability to practice self-compassion has grown. So one more anecdote to show how far I've come along my path. I came to the temple one morning before a Lamrim discussion group, and I'm usually like one of the first ones here, so parking lot was pretty empty, it was all quiet. I was so ready to have a good day. I had all my stuff, I remembered to make iced tea, I had everything I needed. I pull into the parking place, and my foot slipped off the brake and onto the accelerator, and for some reason, it didn't sink into my head. So when I went to stop, I didn't. And I jumped up onto the sidewalk and into the mulch. It was so weird because I pushed what I thought was the brake and the car would accelerate. And so there's always that moment of disbelief when you're just like, the laws of the universe must have changed because it can't be me. So there was that sort of surreal moment. And then I looked up, and there's the temple that I'm going towards. I had the scariest feeling, like, oh my God, I'm gonna crash into the ancestor hall like some kind of horrible karmic Kool-Aid man. And then, like, immediately after, I had the thought of, oh my God, I'm going to be known forever as the idiot who crashed into the karmic hall, like the ancestor hall, like the bad karmic Kool-Aid man. It was horrifying. And then I was like so scared of damaging this and the ramifications therein that like I suddenly sobered up and I'm like, okay, if pushing the brake isn't stopping, then just stop pushing. And so I did. The car stopped, thankfully a healthy distance from the building. And I sat there for a minute and the Hartman Credo kicked in. And I was so embarrassed. I'm just like, you idiot, and just called myself every name in the book. It felt like the biggest jerk in the world. And then I was like, oh my God, I got to cover this up. So like I hurried up and backed up. Like I didn't even like look to see like was it safe. I'm just like, nope, there I go. And parked the car for real, leapt out and like frantically was like trying to like tidy up the mulch because I got to hide it, right? I can't, nobody can know this. Yeah. And I ran over a sapling, and so I'm like trying to prop it up, and the fence that was around it was squashed. And then I look up, and like the only good thing about this was that I thought no one was there. And I look up, and walking towards me is Enmei, beautiful, peaceful, kind Enmei. And she walked up and she said, well, what happened here? And I just looked at her, and it was everything I could do to not physically throw my body down and just say, nothing is wrong. Everything is fine. And she started helping me clean up. And as we wrestled the fence that was protecting the sapling apart, because it had been flattened, and put it back up around the poor sapling, the most incredible thing happened. Like, as we worked, I felt myself consciously for the first time. I'm 54, and it was the first time in my life that I felt myself let go of that horrible shame. And so we finished tidying up, went into the temple. She went to Jukai, because she coordinates that. I went in and started the Lamrim discussion group, and shocked the hell out of myself in the check-in part. I told everybody what I just did. It's like, you ever hear yourself saying something and you're just like, oh my God, like it's almost like two different entities. The Sangha has this active listening component to it, like for Sangha circles, for the Lamrim, any discussion or activity. And that active listening is so gentle and kind and focused, and it's like you're in this cup of caring. And it was just so healing for me. They listened so compassionately. And if anybody was judging me, there must be the best actor in the world, because I couldn't sense any kind of judgment at all. I feel like there's a difference between damage and harm, the same way that our teachers have talked about how pain differs from suffering. Damage to the temple would have been truly awful. Although maybe we could have gotten some more storage out of it, I don't know. But it would have been really bad. But it could have been fixed. The harm of that awful sense of unforgivable shame and the need to hide the not so wonderful aspects about myself has been such a colossal burden in my life, poisoning my relationships, my self-esteem, my peace of mind. To overcome both wings of the Hartman Credo of shame and silence in one go was amazing. And don't get me wrong, I still fall back on those behaviors all the time because it's really old. But it feels like that one success got a taste of that, so it's going to lead to others. That was a really miraculous day on so many levels. And who knew? Losing control of your car can lead to a good thing. It's terrifying. I took refuge in Sangha, and I take refuge in Sangha, which has helped me realize and live into my name, Zuiho, marrow set free. I've spoken. Let's see. It's muted. Ta-da!
Thank you. Thank you. I was not expecting this to happen for me until at least like 2035 or something. This is not on my vision board for this year, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do this. This was not planned. Soke was supposed to be here. And so I don't know if Soke is watching, but hey, you're here with me. Thank you. Thank you for your practice. One of my dear jazz mentors told me, Isabella, stay ready. So I'm here. Thank you. Thank you for listening. My name is Ryuka, which means dragon blossom. For the friends who might be a little new to the Sangha, these are my parents. And I have been asked to talk about my experience with the precepts. This is an interesting one for me because one of the great ways to think about it is the life before and the life after. It's difficult for me to do that because it is the life. When I think of the precepts in my history, there's two parts. The first part is that I took what's called the 3 pure precepts when I was about 7 or 8 years old. These are kind of the foundational ones: refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And seeing the seeds of those precepts in my life is it's powerful. Seeing how it affects how I've moved through the world with kindness, with love, with understanding, and also being able to give the gift that the precepts gave me, which is many-fold, but one of them is this piece that you talked about, this active listening piece. I've been really blessed to grow up in a family where active listening is the norm. This is what we do. And so I'm humbled to be up here because I know you're listening to me. You know what I mean? Like in many environments, that's not the norm. So also my intention while I'm speaking to you is that the words are alive. I'm not just trying to speak from here to here and get into that feedback loop. I want what I say to you today to come from here up. So thank you for holding the space for me to talk about it. 7 to 8 years old, that's when I took the 3 pure precepts. And during that time of my life, it was not known to us that I could even be here alive with you all today. I had a very serious health issue, wheelchair, chemotherapy, the whole stuff. It sucked. It really sucked. And so the precepts were there as a way to just kind of make sure my bases were covered, you know? Luckily, happily, joyfully, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. Yeah, I'm happy to be here with y'all, hey. And so fast forward that, I was in I've been blessed to be in very amazing incubators of love in my life. This is obviously the main one, the foundation. Toledo School for the Arts, I also want to bring that into the room. That was an incubator of love for me. The University of Toledo was an incubator of love for me. And now it's kind of expanded out to be the city of Toledo as an incubator of love for me. And so it's been very fun taking the precepts that I received. I received the entirety of the precepts August of last year. So that was cool. That felt like all these pieces went locked into place. And so now I get to express those out in my life as a young professional in Toledo. So I want to speak with y'all today about the precept of actualizing good for others, because that has been so fun for me. It's been a thing that I get to do. I think growing up in this environment and with you beautiful people has shown me and taught me the importance of what it means to have an organized group of people together for a common purpose. And not only that, but how to build something from literally an idea, a dream, into the physical space. I mean, this space that we are in right now, I get so inspired every time that we are here, because this is a physical embodiment of my parents' dream. So thank you all for being part of that dream. What I'm doing now is that's my core thing. That actualizing good for others thing is like my North Star. So when people ask me, because they know who my parents are, and I'm really grateful to come from a family we got integrity through and through. Like, people know my parents, my grandparents, and so one, I'm really honored to be part of that, but two, it's also like people are curious about it. Well, what does that mean? You grew up Buddhist, like what does that mean? And for my practitioners, it's so hard to put all of this into words, right? It's like, I know, and also I don't know, and there's so much to say. But I will say that what I can share that people always can understand, no matter if they're in this space or not, is that my North Star is to alleviate the suffering of the world and myself. That's my thing, and that directly comes from our practice of the precepts. So with that lens, how do I move? With that lens, how do I express? And I've been very blessed to be in a space where the answer to that has been allowed to be generated from here up. I grew up in a household that people looked at us and said, how are you a jazz professor and a Aikido master and a Zen master, and how? And I've kind of learned to not ask the question how anymore. We just do. We just do. Yesterday I had a really beautiful day where I think it was the embodiment of the Bodhisattva vow, which is that alleviating the suffering of the world, which is start the day by doing some community service with keeping Lucas County beautiful. We get the cool pinchers, and you go around, and you pick up all the trash around. I did that with my young professionals group, they're awesome. They're amazing. I love them. And then got lunch downtown, and then finally ended the day by going to the library. Yeah. The organization called Midstory was doing a really cool thing on environmental science. But through that all, that's not separate from the precepts. That me walking through the world, and whoever I get to meet that day, or I get to connect the other person with that other person, none of that is separate. That blanket of the precepts, that blanket of the Tathagata's robe, I wear it, even when I'm not wearing this. I love outfits, by the way. I talk about outfits on my Instagram and stuff. But aside the point, it's not separate. Who I am and what the precepts are, and it's just And that's not just for me, that's for everyone here. And even if you haven't taken the precepts yet, it's really like basic human stuff. Like, it's like, don't steal, don't be a bad person, like, don't misuse your sexuality. Like, it's just this like blanket ethical protection that you have to what my mom says: stop the bleeding, don't cause more suffering, stop it. If you are causing suffering to yourself and other people, stop that first. We gotta stop the bleeding. And then it goes into further details into that. My life is, it's interesting. I can't say it's forever changed because of the precepts, because the precepts have always kind of been around, you know? But my life in the last year since taking those precepts, opportunities like this, where the bar is high, but I have the tools necessary to step into it, more of those type of opportunities have been happening for me. And so I want to say thank you all for your practice and actualizing good for others in the world. And it's my dream to do right by this community, by this Sangha. And thank you. I've spoken.
way